Hey, what's up YouTube? This is part 7 of the K20 Integra build, and this is going to be the last startup for the B18B. I'm going to be moving it so I can move it over there. I'm about to move the RSX right now and basically get ready to drop the gas tank today, and then I'll be showing you basically how to take the B18B one out, the shift linkage, axles, and basically start getting the preparation for the K20 into here. So we gotta take the mount, we gotta cut the bracket off the passenger side mount, and there's a lot of little stuff. I'm gonna run the returnless system and just start basically taking everything that I don't need off of this car and get ready for the K. So I'm gonna get that going right now, move the RSX, and get this planted. Alright, now we finally got it on the concrete, and the K is right here, and this is it. We're gonna start taking this engine out. The best thing I like to start off with is take apart the battery, because you don't want to get shocked. And then I usually get a 10mm and go after all the 10. So I take off my ground first, right here, one right here. There's one down there. Pop the intake. You got your brake booster line right here. I mean, all this stuff can be done in within a minute if you have a power gun. But the power steering line right here, these are 2 10s. You can easily take those off. A 10 right here for the harness. The 2 10s for the throttle cable, you can just pop those off real fast. So I'm gonna get knocking out all the little easy stuff and then get back to it. Alright, so far I got the battery disconnected with a 10. I got the throttle, and I got power steering. I disconnected that with the 10. I also disconnected the radiator brackets, the AC bracket, that was a 10. So there's still a lot more 10s to go. These are all 10s, so I'm gonna do this next. This is your cruise control. This is your fuel, your return. I'm basically gonna be deleting that completely. And this one right here, this is a 17. We'll disconnect that. We'll disconnect this Phillips right here, and then we'll get the air box off. Since the air box is disconnected, those were 10s too as well. There'll be one right here, one right here, and then the other one, I don't know if you can see it, but it's right there. So there's 3 10s, a Phillips, and then take that off. So let's get that done right there, and then I'll tell you what else we should take it off. Alright, now that we got the airbox out of the way, we got more access to the transmission. So there's 2 more 10s right here. That's for the slave cylinder, and we got a ground right here for the transmission, so that's a 10. I took that off already. This right here is a 10 as well, so I'm gonna take that off. That's for the AC system, but we're gonna actually be removing all that and running the new hybrid lines. So I'm actually gonna be taking this whole AC off as well. So I'm not gonna show you with the Freon just spraying out and everything, but I'm gonna disconnect the AC to those lines. And then for the actual slave cylinder, there's 2 12s. So also I got the cruise control off, fuel is off, the 17 is off. Alright, so I have taken the cruise control off. I've taken the fuel pressure regulator. The brake booster was already off. Got the airbox off, so that gives you access to the transmission. I took that ground, that was a 10. There's 2 10s for this bracket right here for the slave cylinder, and then the slave cylinder itself, there's 2 12s. So I'm gonna knock those out. Take these clips out apart as well. These clips, there's a little tab right here. You push it down, and what you want to do is kind of just wiggle it out, because I know some people are kind of struggle on this, so I'll just show you this live. This one is a push in. The second one, you just, like I said, you just kind of wiggle it out. And the third one on the bottom is a clip down. So you just push it clip down, and that's it. And then on this, to take the harness apart, there's 2 8s right here. So I'm gonna take those apart and I'll get those going and then get on to the next. Alright, so now the slave cylinder is disconnected. My wiring harness is disconnected. Now they got these other tabs as well. This green one, you just pull out, pull up, pull out. Now this harness on this side is disconnected. Next, we're probably gonna do these plugs over here. So same kind of thing over here, just click up and pull up. And this one is on the side, pull forward. Get rid of that one, and then the other one is on this side, so it's at the bottom. So what I do is just kind of pull it up and then pull that down. And another thing I didn't show you is just when you are disconnecting these clips, you just push down as hard as you can and then disconnect. That's how I did it on the other side. So now what I'm actually going to do is just remove the power steering off the actual engine. That way I don't have to leak any fluid right now. I could actually take the engine out without the power steering pump. And then disconnect this vacuum line or smog line and get ready to do the shift linkage and everything under, because I don't want to disconnect the radiator and have fluid all over the floor and all over me while I'm down there dripping on me. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock that out next. All right, now it's time to do the suspension. So basically what we're gonna be doing is taking off the axle nut. That's a 32 millimeter. This shoehorn is a 14 millimeter right here. And then there's a 17 right here. Also a 17 right here, that's the ball joint, and then you have a little pin. So the tools I'll be using are some wire cutters, ball joint breaker, a flathead screwdriver, 14 millimeter, 32 millimeter, 17 with another 17 to hold down the other side, and a hammer. So basically gonna knock this out real quick and show you how to get this going. Alright, so got the suspension all apart, as you can see. Some little tips when you are doing your lower ball joint. If you don't want to use the ball joint breaker, which I didn't use because I didn't really want to mess up the little rubber bushing on the ball joint. Sometimes they get, you know, messed up and you don't want to actually replace them because they're kind of expensive. I mean, you have to get them pressed out and everything. So hit it basically right here and just loosen the bolt a couple turns, and it should literally, like, you'll be able to pull the spindle up. But also the thing of that is you want to make sure the other side is lifted up as well, or the sway bar will actually work against you. So make sure you do have the other side lifted so the sway bar is balanced for both sides. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side, but I'll actually probably show you the technique that I'm actually talking about. Alright, so now we're down at the shift linkage. I was trying to access the pin and everything. So this is the pin you're gonna have to hit out. This is the clip that's gonna be around it, and this shift was gonna be around that clip. So I kind of did this early just to kind of show you. So I'll pop this clip off. And then this is a 12 millimeter, so that's pretty simple. That just comes out one bolt. And then the trick is to use I use a 12 millimeter bolt like this one right here. It comes off the power steering, and just basically right here, and you just hammer it as best as you can, and that's it. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock this out real fast. Alright, so now we're on the exhaust. It's gonna be a 14 and then a 12 on this side, and then on here there's a half shaft that's connected to the axle. So there's 3 bolts. Probably can't see them up there, but 3 14 millimeter bolts. While we're down here, we're just gonna take those off too, and then we'll get to the suspension on the other side. Alright, so got my exhaust bolts off and my half shaft bolts, so now I can get to the suspension and knock that out. Alright, so I'm gonna kind of show you guys what I do to actually get the spindles and everything off real fast. So the first thing we're gonna do is just break the axle, because it's the number one thing. Like I said, put the flathead right here. not gonna be that easy all the time, but looks like this car was just worked on recently, so it wasn't too loose. Then I can just get my gun. Alright, axle's done, and then pull that out. You're good on that. Next, I'll do the easy. I like to do the easiest parts first, so I leave everything else for last. So let's take out the top bolt with the 14 for the shoehorn. And then I'm gonna loosen the bottom one. I'm not gonna take the bolt out yet until I actually break the ball joint, which I'll show you how to do. 17 millimeter. Alright, so now all the bolts are loose. Now we can go to this side where I can show you where the ball joint is. I don't know if you can see it right there. Let's see, adjust it a little more. But anyways, the ball joint's right here. So basically what you want to do is just loosen it good enough to where it's the actual threads are just barely showing, and then you just want to hit it with the hammer right here a couple times. And then just check every. Alright, it's loose, so now I can finish taking it off. So I'm gonna just take that off and get the ball joint off, and that's basically it. So now I can go on and start taking the axles out and everything. So I'm gonna just disconnect this bolt and then that'll be it. Alright, so as you can see, we got the axle out on this side with the half shaft side. Like I said, when you just take the bolts out, you can just pull it out. On the other side though, you want to use like a pry tool. So I just used that, and you can just pry it and just pop it out the other side. So basically everything is done at the bottom. Now we can go and start taking off our hoses. So I'm going to take this hose off, this one. These are heater hoses. Disconnect that from the frame and get ready to do the radiator and the AC after that. So I'm gonna knock all this out so the video isn't too long. So basically it's gonna be like 210s for that. Make sure you if you have pressure, just kind of bring the bolt out enough to where when you pull it out, it just releases and doesn't blow on your face when you try to release the AC freon. And we'll disconnect this. This is, you're gonna have to use like channel locks or whatever. Disconnect this. Like I said, it's just you gotta pull the tab up and pull out. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock this out real fast. Alright, so now the AC pump is out, the lines are out. I stuffed the lines so no dirt gets into them before we do the new AC system on there. Hoses are taken off. Now it's basically almost time to drop it. There's 214s right here for this mount right here, and then on the same side, on the other side, sorry, same place though, same type of mount. There's 214s right there under, so you just got to drop those, and then get to our rear mount, loosen that up, which is right here. That's a 17. I don't know if you can really see it, but just 117 bolt, and that'll pull that off. These ones, you gotta take off the 17 right here, and then 3 14s, and then that'll drop from there. And then the last one is the transmission. There's 3 bolts. I don't know if you can really see right there, and then a 17. They're all 17s. After that, just put the jack under, and basically get ready to lower it down and get this thing out of here. So this is basically it. Last time you'll see this B18 B1 in this car. Alright, so this is it. Motor's out. No more B18 B1. K-Series is about to be dropped in, but now I got to start prepping it and everything. So I'm going to clean everything up, get everything looking back to its original shape. This mount is the mount you do have to take off. You see the spot welds. gotta pop those off. It's probably gonna take about a good hour. So gotta drop the tank still, do a couple more prep work. But yeah, just stay tuned, subscribe, ring that bell, comment, share, like, and stay tuned.